All right, part three, which is actually really simple one. Basically, and we have to once we create the machines, we have to manage them. We have to control them. So where can we do that? The answer is, and from the Citrix Studio and the Citrix Director. So I'm going to show you where it is, which is on one of the server called XDC1. Okay, so again, let's log in as an administrator as well. Ta-da, ta-da! All right, so again, I'm going to show you where to find them. So remember, there's two parts. One is studio, and one is director. All right. So the director is just here on the desktop. So once you click on the director, I think you will see the web page actually loading up. Then we'll ask you to log in as, you know, admin. While that waiting, I just show you where's the studio. Studio basically is on the taskbar. So if you click on Studio, you will have exactly the same. It's still loading. So all right. So this is director, and I think everybody pretty and familiar with what this can do. So if you log into the director, you pretty much see everyone in the 7.5 environment and how they connect. I just show you really quickly and how to manage them, but I think most of you guys should already have the sufficient knowledge to do anything. So I'm pretty confident and for you, and so I don't really worry too much. All right. So as you can see, that's the dashboard, and it will show you uh, the connections, session connections, which is 4 in here, and also important information like user connection failure and the failed desktop OS machines and stuff like that. And so if you click on the session connections, you will see sessions, so you know who actually logged in. And then also, if you go to machines, you will see desktop machines is none because we don't have any right now, but the server OS machines, because remember we created the test 7.5, now it's actually live. So, and oh, by the way, I'm gonna have to show you here as well. Not that one. And not that one either. Okay, not the HSPC. What I'm going to show you is actually okay. When you log in, you see that desktop, but when you go to desktops, you see that XAAPP test. I'm going to show you how that actually come about. Okay, so you can see all the different machines as well. If there's one of the machines you don't want them to be available to the users, as you can see, the power states for those is 14 is off and 17 is off, but that one is on. That's fine. So if you want to have any of them actually disabled, not disabled, like no one can actually log in, you have to put the maintenance mode on, which is when you highlight the machine, you can go to the maintenance mode tab, then just turn it on. If you turn it on, it will show you the maintenance mode is actually on, and then nobody else can actually log in there. Okay, let's just turn it off because that's the live server. I don't really want to change that. Okay, and also if you want to control one of the user's sessions, for example me, so all you have to do is go to the director and do a search on that person's name, YUYI, which is me. So then you can see everything that person's doing. So you can see I actually have 3 windows open, which is the one I open right now. So you can shadow the user from here, or log off the the session he's using from here and the application, or log him off simply. And but I was just not to use the reset profile, because if you click on the reset profile, what it's gonna happen is the user will lose all the configuration. So next time when they log in, they will just chase you. All right, so I think that's enough for the Citrix and Director. Let's talk about the Citrix Studio, which is quite fun actually. What you have to do is, of course, you can search the studio, right? And also, if you highlight the studio, it's actually going to give you some really interesting information as well. Let's just wait for a second. Okay, it doesn't happen this time. Normally, if you just open, and you will have the common task, actually a window showing up to tell you who's doing what, but it doesn't show this time. Oh, it does. Here we go. So the common tasks, so you can see what chief admin actually doing, and then remember I disabled and enabled maintenance mode, so that's recorded here. And also you can see naked admin actually shadow the user here, so that's where you get all your common task and kind of like a section and information. Then you can even produce the report, I believe, from here. Anyway, if you go to the machine category from here, and that's the one I'm talking about, how we actually create the Zine app and test and shortcut from the storefront. So basically, I will show you how to actually do that, but basically, if it's new, then you just put in the oh, okay. So it doesn't really actually ask you to do that. I'm gonna just quickly show you, but I'm not gonna add anything just yet. All right. So basically, you just have to go through, the normal the normal setup and stuff like that. And but I think I chose the Windows is the server OS, because we don't set up the desktop just yet. And then you go to the Citrix provisioning services, because if you're going through that, then you have to go in through the resource from the totally different pool, not the vdisk pool, which I already showed you. All our Citrix servers are from the provisioning services. So go to next, then you will ask you to connect the provisioning services, which is and CPVS1. And if you connect, it will show you all the services you can. Of course, you choose test, then go to next. Then if I click on finish in here, if I give it a name, click on finish here, then it will create something else. And so I don't really want to do that. And but also I have to add one more machine because I create a second machine here as well. So let's just connect, then do a refresh. Click on OK, then click on finish. If everything's right, then that machine showing up there going to become 2. Here we go, 2. So once that's set up, you still have to deliver. So that's why we go to the delivery group. When you go to the delivery group, you will see XAPP test. Yep, that's how it's exactly showing up on here, and which is quite simple as well. I'm going to show you. If you create the delivery group from here, all you have to do is go into next, and you know it's test machines, but the machine numbers, okay, because that one used 1, but we have the 2 test machines. That's why I still have 1 here. So I just use a test, and it delivers both desktop and applications because it's either the desktop like the Windows 7 desktop or application from some of the services. But in the provisioning, kind of like a citrix type, it's both, because you have to deliver the servers to the normal user to use, and also sometimes you have to streamline the applications for them to use as well. So go to next. Of course, you add a different user group. So for now, only IT can actually see that. And yeah, and if you go to next again, then it will ask you for the application name and stuff like that. Of course, we're not going to set the application, but storefront, you just choose automatic, then choose that one because that's the where the storefront actually coming from. If you go to next and give the name and click on finish, then it will go published. So let's cancel that. Then I think I have to add a different machine in here as well, which is that one. So go to next so we can still see. Now you have 2 machines here. One shows an unregistered. It's because it takes a little while for that to update, but eventually it will go to 0. Alright, so and after that, uh, policies. Policies is really interesting, and for the topic itself, I can cover for about 3 hours. But I would suggest you got to read some documentation from the Citrix website about the Citrix Studio, because it's such a fun way to actually doing everything. So basically, touch base. So basically, everything the a group policy can do on the Windows environment. And if you don't want to Windows group policy and editor to handle everything, you can actually add the policies in the Citrix specifically just for the Citrix. So you can mix and match as well, but um, sometimes I would suggest don't put the same policy into 2 different places because that might apply twice. It might just appear like the the policies apply just once because it's only appear once, but in reality it's gonna double the time you log in because the policy will have to go through both Citrix and the Studio policies and the the thingy. Uh, Again, we have the lagging issue because if you actually click on the policies, you should have unidentified, unfiltered, and the policy actually showing up. But of course, it's not showing up. It's simply because and this machine is getting a little bit slow. And by running both Citrix Studio and the Citrix and Desktop Director. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to close that. Probably not the best idea. It's closed by itself anyway. So, okay. Performance. Okay, so I have to close that now. So now let's click on the studio again. Studio itself is quite interesting, but to master the studio, you do have to spend some time. Especially, you have to read the documents about how to actually master the Zing app 7.5. And there are loads of documentation on the Citrix website. So if you are really interested, I would suggest you to actually take a look and on those and by yourself. And because otherwise, I'm going to spend an hour here and still not finish. So I'm not going to do that, of course. Ooh, that's okay. Alright, so the studio will take a little while, but just check my the instruction, and it's pretty much showing what you can actually add in the Citrix environment. And the only thing it didn't cover is the policy, but the policy only have the unfiltered right now on our history environment, so it's not that important. But if you really want to add other policies, and what you have to do is you have to disable the Citrix policies on the Windows group policy, then just re-add them in here. So I don't think it's that the best idea right now. And but well, if you do decide to do that one day, you probably can do that. Alright, so I guess that's all the training and I have to give for now.